of things in a balm. And the song by Richard Smallwood is saying that there is a balm in Gilead. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People here on WOLB 1010 Baltimore. Good morning to each and every one of you. Thanks to each and every one of you who have joined us on this day of great sorrow in the nation, great sorrow in our city of Baltimore. To date, we have over 200 homicides. Over the last 6 months, I believe the number is close to 300 of people that have been killed in mass shootings by white domestic terrorists. That's people that are white, not Muslim, not African American, not Mexican, white people who have not only lost their minds, I have to wonder if they've had them in the first places, but there are people in power who feel like that America is changing. America's been changing since its origin because the Constitution says that in order to form a more perfect union. But there are those who get stuck in the past, which is typical of a Republican. They like things the way they are, and they fight to keep them from changing. And so we just wanted to play that song for you, for all of you who have lost your loved ones right here in the city. Miss Linda Toll over at Liberty Tech and Rec, she lost her grandson, 27 years old, the other day. 27 years old, not even 30. Of course, the father and the mother are devastated. I understand that the most difficult thing to do is for a child to die before the parents. It is the most unbearable of sorrows, because you can imagine why that is so and why we don't even have to think about why it is so. So today we wanted to talk about that a little bit. And first of all, we're going to do what we do every Monday and every Sunday at 3:30 is we're going to pray. Everybody, if you're near a radio, if you can touch it, or if you have your phone in your hand, but if you're driving, don't close your eyes. And you can touch the radio, but they say you're supposed to keep both hands on the steering wheel. So do what you know to do sensibly. But right now, let us pray. Oh God, our Father, Lord, here we are. Here we are in your presence, because your presence is everywhere and in everything. Sometimes we forget that you are love and that you've commanded us to love one another, because that is the true reflection of how much we love you. But some of us forget. We worry about who's sleeping with whom and who ain't doing what and who's not what they say. And we forget about the love that it should be the center of our lives, whether we're Christian, non-Christian, no matter what. Love is the miracle, oh God. And we thank you for the love, because the Bible says that you are a spirit, and they that worship you must worship you in spirit and in truth. But we forget that love is a spirit, and it is not love until we give it away. Lord, we're asking you right now to look down on our nation. Lord, help the people that are in such great sorrow, that have lost their children, that have lost their loved ones, that have lost their friends. Oh God, but we ask you also to look upon Baltimore as we fight and as we try to form a more perfect union, with the odds so set against us for decades. But we know that through your power and through your might and affecting our spirits, because you said it's not by power or might, but it's by your spirit. And we ask you, Lord, to just let your spirit reign in our lives. Let it change us. Let it heal us. Let it renew us. Let us start looking at each other as brothers and sisters and stop looking at it as us and them. Lord, bless our city hall. Bless our mayor. Help him quicken his mind. Our city council, who are recalcitrant and moving too slowly. Bless our governor, who seems to be confused about where the issues are. We ask you, Lord, to touch everyone, those in hospitals right now, oh God, that are there that can't come out, oh God. Some of them might never come out, and there's some are waiting to get out, oh God. Ask you to just lift their spirits and encourage them, and if possible, help them to forget about themselves and look on the person that's in front of them and extend your healing love to others. we do thank you for this time together, and we thank you for the people who appropriate this time and bless us with it to come to our people so that we might love the more, we might find ways to unify. In thy Son, Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Well, God bless you all. It's a little somber. I feel Jason, he's so thoughtful, and he said to me, he says, we really should talk about what's going on in the nation and what's going on in our city. The only thing that's going on, the difference is in our nation and in our city, it's us killing each other. In the nation, it is white supremacists who are trying to make some sort of idea that they can go and kill people that they don't like. Oh, man, you're talking about a bunch of heathens. Oh, can we say an amen for that? But we're getting ready to start the show, and I want to start the show off by congratulating a person that I read about, and I met him on Facebook. His editorials and his writing was just so brilliant that I got in touch with him and asked him to come on the show. And I don't think he left since that time. He's been here for a year. Please say hello and thank God for the brilliance of Brother James C. Moran. How are you today, Jimmy?
I'm doing well. Well, thank you very much for that commendation. I have certainly enjoyed my year. It's been eye-opening, and I've learned how to be a better commentator, I think.
Well, your writing is always just wonderful, but the whole idea is that anything that is not growing is dying. And that's what we so often forget. I got plants in my house that I've had for 20 years. In fact, some of you know that I was assaulted and lost my right hand. And some of you sent me beautiful plants. I want you to know they are beautiful and still thriving in my house, because I realize I got to water them. I've got to nurture them. I got to pick the dead leaves off of them. I've got to prune them so that they keep growing. And the same way with our lives, we must take care of ourselves first, because you can't help nobody. When you get on the airplane, the first thing they tell you to do is to put your mask on first. Because if you have children there and something happens to you, then you can't help your children. So we've got to take care of ourselves. And I want to repeat it again. Anything that is not growing is dying. Mr. Richard Terry, who I'm just excited about my anchors here. Richard Terry is just an amazing mind, and just an old soldier in the battle for justice here in the city of Baltimore. Richard Terry, good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning to all.
Thank you for joining us. And I believe, Brother Leo, you locked him in. Brother Burroughs, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that big voice. How are you today?
Morning, everybody.
Yes,
Good
also,
morning,
Leo is another one that has been on the battlefield for a long time for our people. So we're honored. We miss Doc Cheatham. He's doing so much. He had a birthday last week, and his car got messed up. One of those, those tops on top of those manholes. He drove across it, and it reared up and tore his car up, totaled his car. So our prayers are out to him, and just wishing him a happy birthday and telling him that we miss him. He's on the battlefield for these HBCUs, which many of you don't know was sent back to the judge because Baltimore and the state could not come to an agreement about what needed to be done, which tells you everything about sometimes people put down Democrats because of their sort of malfeasance and sort of lack of fidelity to all of the people of the state of Maryland. Brian Frosh, our Attorney General, and our governor, and they have decided that they want this to go to the Supreme Court. And if it goes to the Supreme Court, we fear that it will be ruled unconstitutional to have special attention to historically black colleges. But universities like Harvard and Yale can exist because of the great amounts of money that is given to them. The Johns Hopkins is one of the richest institutions in the world, as well as Harvard, because because they're endowed with their students from past eras, and we need our historically black colleges. Our children thrive and they expound and grow better when they're in an environment of their own culture that teaches them other cultures, and that's why we need to fight to preserve this. I understand Kurt Schmoke is trying to get a merge of a Coppin State University and BCCC into some sort of umbrella group that will be ran by the University of Baltimore, University of Maryland. I'm not sure, but it is.
Patrick, there's
Yes.
parts to that I can only think, because I was in those meetings 20 years ago, this is something that's been played with long before now.
It's nothing new.
Nothing new, and what I'm thinking is trying to happen. You have the University of Maryland system, in which Morgan opted out of and was able to get out of. I think what Kurt is trying to build is a University of Baltimore system that would rival Maryland, but with separate campuses, whether you have BCCC and whether you have Coppin. That's what I think the whole thing boils down to.
Well, check this out. I understand the president of Morgan. What he had a comment. He had a comment about that. He said that they should merge with Morgan State University. Am I correct? Did he not reprimand Schmoke for this consideration he's putting forth?
Well, here's what the whole thing is boiling down to. For years, UB has been fed into by BCCC. And the reason I know that is when I was in charge of 2 programs there, I had worked out an arrangement that the courses would match what UB had, and I could transfer my students there. When we tried the same thing with Coppin, those discussions went nowhere. And those discussions lasted for a couple of years.
But tell me this, is not this the same thing that is, what's the name of the system? Is it in Massachusetts, the Seven Sisters, those universities there?
The Seven Sisters are the predominantly what are considered the Ivy League schools. You have Harvard, Yale,
Wellesley, yes sir, Mount Holyoke, and
Brown University.
Yes, keep going.
and Penn.
Yeah. And what about them? Do they not have systems where they don't teach the same subjects, where students can go to different schools for different reasons?
I don't know.
Yes, they do. I know that for a fact they do.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we don't understand.
I've never examined them.
Yeah,
so that's
check
why
it
I
out,
wouldn't know.
Richard. Check it out. Yeah, I understand. But I want you, yes.
It's Leo. There's an ongoing conspiracy, and you alluded with regard to HBCUs, and it's irrespective of party. Again, Democrat Attorney General of the state of Maryland, Brian Frost, Republican Governor of the state of Maryland, Larry Hogan, and independent white folks and some Negro lackeys or flunkies are working hard to ensure that what we have built in terms of a foundation of excellence, black
Higher
excellence,
learning, yes sir.
rooted in our HBCUs, that no longer prevail. And this is part of the Trump administration. I'm not laying it solely at the feet of Trump, but now is the time to push back on the international white nationalist agenda, which targets HBCUs and targets people of color in general. And so, again, we've got to point out that irrespective of whether they are Democrat or Republican, the powers that be are rallying around the administrative initiative of people like the President of the United States, who wish to disenfranchise us and destroy our history and our heritage. And if we don't get up, if we don't allow our fraternities, our sororities, NAACP, Urban League, and others, don't rally with a definitive agenda of pushback and fighting together collectively, we can't win this fight without folks understanding that it's not partisan. We're fighting a white power initiative, and it's coming by way of Donald Trump, but he's only doing the bidding of those white folks who are more powerful than he.
Well, I think has been a white lash, and I think that it's being carried out here in Maryland and elsewhere. And I think that Morgan State University needs to rally its alumni and everyone else to try to make changes.
Amen.
Well, I think the whole thing with Morgan and the University of Maryland Board of Regents happened maybe, I think, under the days of Schaefer.
Martin O'Malley. The BCC system was also destroyed because they put in an algebra requirement.
No, that was MHEC that did that. That did the remedial. They did one for English and one for math. And two, let's be real, the real reason it was destroyed because it had a tremendous vocational program is because they wanted that property downtown. The developers did.
Oh, see there. That's why I love you, my man. That's the real deal right there. And there are writings that say that the powers that be wanted to end vocational training for our people because too many of us were moving into the middle class. It's just like the post office. That for a while that was really the only way you could really live in the middle class. But vocational jobs like plumbing and electrical and those sorts of things was also creating a strong black middle class. So they killed those programs.
And the only reason that they haven't taken down the downtown campus as of yet is because of one little thing that sits beside the Bard building.
The Jewish monument.
You got it, the Holocaust Memorial. The only reason.
That's the only reason, huh?
Why they haven't taken down that? They haven't taken down that building. But from what I'm understanding from individuals, what they want to do is renovate the whole thing where BCCC might get a couple of floors, and then they're going to turn it into an office building.
But tell me this, that property was donated, wasn't it, from the famous black man who helped did something on the trolley car he invented, Woodwood. I can't remember his name.
I never knew the history.
Oh, I do. That's what happened. I can't think of his name, but I'll get it to you all. That property was donated by that man. So here we are to find that now they're not keeping it as sacred as they're keeping the synagogue or the Jewish Holocaust Memorial. There is just let you know how much they care about us and what we contribute and what we give.
That's what happened when they took down the Harbor campus, and it prevented a lot of students from going into vocations because a lot of the students were being prepared for jobs down there.
So
that's what killed it.
It was conspiratorial. All right. Let's keep this moving. I hope you all are being helped. You to understand what's going on, and you need to call your congressman. You need to call your city council people and ask them what is going on and what is their take on what's going on, and what can we do to preserve our institutions of higher learning. When you look at the news and you see a black person there, and they ask where they went to school, the majority of them went to historically black schools. And I know everybody's waving their hand up in this room because that is the source of our strength, and that is the source of our empowerment. Well, Thomas, I see you there, but I've got 7 minutes, and as many of you know, on last week, Brother Bubby gave breaking news here on Patrick Henderson's Meet the People when he informed us that $300,000 was missing from the housing department, monies that were supposed to have been allocated for rat and mice abatement, and that the man who allegedly stole the money had been fired. And
no, he's still there.
Oh no, he's still there.
Yes, he is.
Bubby, come give us the report. Bubby is here to give us an update on what's going on. Go right ahead, Bubby. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good.
Okay. No one from the office of the Inspector General had contacted me, even though I talked directly to Mad Jack Bernard Young and told him what I had found out. He stated to me, call the IG office. No one has called me back. That's first of all.
That's a week ago.
No, I spoke to him Tuesday.
So tomorrow will be a week, okay?
Yes, indeed. So no, that was Wednesday. That was Wednesday when I spoke to him. I got everything all written down.
Okay.
And basically, I'm waiting for emails from my source at the Housing Authority who directly in contact and involved with this issue. But let me just tell you how dirty housing is. There was a maintenance technician by the name of Doris Lyons We worked together for 8 years at McCullough Homes.
Mm-hmm.
They felt as though he was the person that giving me information, and they terminated him on last week.
Wow.
On what grounds?
They said that he improperly used the work van, unauthorized use of the work van. And let me tell you this: they made it a criminal charge. He got to appear in court on the 9th of August.
What?
Now, keep in mind, you have six-figure housing authority executives who get Jeep Cherokees to take home, and they drive to Virginia, to Moncton, to Pennsylvania every weekend with the housing authority vehicles, with them paying for gas, and nothing is said. You have subcontractors, which is HEPCO, which is really not a subcontractor, which is the construction wing of housing. Most of them take their work vehicles home. You see, so when you look at the hypocrisy of the Baltimore City Housing Authority, you see how outraged I am with the type of stuff that goes on. They have completely destroyed the union. AFSCME Local 647 would represent all of the maintenance employees of the Housing Authority, which is the largest union in the Housing Authority. Yet still, none of the Council 67 executives, they mighty quiet, like Mr. Middleton and them. They mighty quiet, isn't it?
But didn't we hear Middleton on Larry Young's show the other morning? Was that?
Yeah,
I heard. Okay.
I heard him bumbling. I would be upset if he was defending me as a union boss with the nonsense he was talking on the Larry Young show.
But Larry had him on there to hold his feet to the fire, and he got on there, and you say he was just bumbling. Was he not telling the truth, or just defending his position?
Well, the long and short of it, they have a collective bargaining contract. Whatever in the contract, it's called task work. Basically, what task work is, once you completed the work, if you call to another job or another task, overtime starts when you call to that second job or task. That's not the employee's fault, nor is that the union fault. That's one good thing that they negotiated. See, but you got to realize, running behind a trash truck is no easy job.
No, it's not.
But let me get back. If you look at the Sun paper, they have an article. The article basically says the changing skyline at Harbor East stand in sharp contract to the 75-year-old public housing, which is Perkins Home. You know they selling that because that waterfront in Janet Abraham, they want to develop $300,000 homes there. So let's be very honest. When President Trump talk about corruption, people like me who live in Zone 17 understand and have a question. Where the money? Why is no one being transparent with the money?
Wow.
And $953 million have been given to District Council 7 in the past 5 years. Where the money? Show me what we got for it. They closing up elementary schools. They diverting bus routes. They tearing down half of public housing. We got per capita just as many vacant units as anybody in the community. We have drug rehab centers all over the places. The kids leave elementary school. They walk through the drug centers and the drug users, and you wonder what's going on.
Well, I've tried to find out where you get the $953 million figure. Is that I've tried to find out where you get the $953 million figure.
$953 million. That's where I got it from. Look it up.
I did.
Where did it come from? Do you know where it came from? The federal government?
They came from the federal government. In fact, over President Obama tenure, $1.8 billion of stimulus money came in here.
Yes, it did. Not unaccounted for. Yes, James.
Sir, don't play semantics with the facts.
I'm not. I'm just looking for where you're talking about.
Which one is that, Morant?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
That's James Morant.
It's James Morant.
Is that the new psalmist guy?
Yeah.
New psalmist?
Yes.
Ask your church where the money went at.
Well, no,
the money they received from the housing authority when they knocked down Upland apartment complex.
They built a new church with it, didn't they?
Yep.
They got $18 million from the housing authority.
Right, and they built a new church.
Campus that they at.
No, actually, we got $27 million.
Yeah.
There you go. You making my point.
No, I'm not. I'm just looking for the $953 million. That's all.
Bubby. Don't he's just we're trying to find out, but we all want to know where the money went.
That's one of the problems, Patrick, that we have. We have the bourgeois who's sitting on their high perch, and until blood spilled in the street, then they want to open their mouth and act like nothing is going on. But
hold on, Bubby. Hold on, Leo. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Don't touch that dial. Come back. It's finna get hot up in that room. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
So please don't let the time you've sown be wasted on things that you later.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
This is not a time to get distracted.
Oh, yes.
No.
This is not the time to get distracted or go off course. Welcome back to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Bubby, all right, I understand, and I tell Richard, I tell Mr. Moran all the time, New Psalmist is doing some incredible things in the public arena. I mean, they are probably one of the most involved with outreach ministries of any church, of any mega church that I know of in the city. So don't feel as though he's not. We've been trying to find the source of the money. They have said that what happened to it. I think Obama gave 1.6 billion. There was 22 million that came in from after the Freddie Gray thing happened, and then Trump is saying that he's given money, but nobody can find the money. And so we have the governor who is trying to say that Elijah Cummings should be more involved, when in reality we know that the governor is not only passing the buck, but he's complaining about sending money here for the school system. And then he complains that he's not going to send any more money because the money keeps coming up missing. So you see, everybody's talking and passing the buck, and nobody's standing up and taking responsibility for the pilferage, for the stealing that it keeps going on. You're right. I mean, when you look at that skyline down there in that harbor, man, when I go down there, it's like I'm in a whole other city. It's just unbelievable. But you got restaurants down there closing. You got people down there that are nervous about staying in Baltimore, but those are starting rents $4,000 a month. These $300,000 houses, you're talking of places they're going to be. Of course, the main people that need that housing will not be able to afford those housing. So I understand you have my empathy. But Leo, what
Patrick,
were you going?
Wait for Leo.
Okay.
What I was trying to say is that I agree with Bubby in one instance that the local part of AFSCME, maintenance workers group, AFSCME Local 647, has been devastated by the complicity of Middleton. But I asked Middleton a question on air this past week, and that was when they raised the issue about the Inspector General accusing the sanitation workers of being overpaid. My question was, in other words, they were saying that the sanitation workers were getting more overtime than they should have received. My challenge was, why did you negotiate a contract that would allow underpayment of sanitation workers in the first place? In other words,
exactly.
I think the union has an obligation to be on the battlefield, and when you smoke them out, they don't come out until you point the finger. But I'm saying that in some ways Middleton is a double agent, because he maintains the status quo. He doesn't really want to upset things, but you've got to fight for your workers. No sanitation people should be underpaid. He acknowledges that, but he always inks contracts in agreement with the city to continue to underpay any portion of his constituency, in this case the sanitation workers. That is absolutely outraging.
Go ahead.
I hope we get him on air as a guest of your show.
All right, Bobby, go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Leo, I agree with you 100%. I believe he had been complicit in all of this mess that goes on in Baltimore. Let me give you facts. He represents the maintenance employees and the supervisors. The supervisors bring false charges. He defends the supervisors against the false charges and fire the maintenance employees, and nothing is done. Now, you ask yourself, what kind of conflict is this when he represents two locals in the same collective bargaining group, but one local brings disciplinary action against the other local? And nothing is said, nothing has been said. If you look at the crappy contract and what the city employees make, it is shameful.
Is Middleton not elected to that position? Do the people vote for him?
Well, let me tell you this. All positions supposed to be elected. But when you take in your executive boards to Bahamas and they carrying the votes, that's how you win. Ask the city employees, when is the election for the president for Local 44? I bet they can't tell you.
Wow.
And by law, they're supposed to receive notification within a month.
Patrick, can we let's lock Bubby in.
Okay.
And you're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. I'm coming to you now, Thomas. The lines are filling up. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Come, Richard. Did you want to say something?
Yes. There's one way to settle all of this, and this is what people have been screaming for years: a complete, transparent audit of every agency within the city of Baltimore.
Absolutely, man.
And have those audits posted so people can examine them. Where the income that goes into these agencies can be noted and the expenses can be noted. If they start running a deficit, then you know something's wrong. But the way that this is being worked, only a handful of people will ever see those audits, and they can use whatever propaganda, with whatever rhetorical tricks in order to bamboozle everybody into thinking everything is fine.
Would a class action suit change that? If we sued the city, if the people came together and sued the city, what can we do? Because there is collusion, there is incalcitrance, there is all of these things, and I contend that there is a powerful white hand somewhere back there that's calling these shots.
When Hogan said that the representative could do more, here's how it really works, and everybody should know this. The state has to have, according to the state charter, it has to work on a fixed budget. It has to have a balanced budget coming out of Annapolis every year. And people are asking for more and more and more money, so where do they go? They go to the federal government, who can print money hand over fist.
Right.
Now, and then those representatives in Congress and in the Senate will then hide pork projects in various bills that they work on, and those pork projects come to the state, which allegedly can move them to the city.
Okay, and my only thing is, if you come with numbers, then we ought to be able to. I don't want to make charges about various things without knowing where you get the information from. I don't have an issue with $953 million, except is there a spreadsheet somewhere where you can find
allegedly, that? I've heard those numbers, and it comes from various sources. I just never.
Well, are we talking about the core money?
I went on governmentspending.gov.
What about the core money?
Is that what we're talking about, the core money?
Well, I'm not sure what the $953 million is.
Because that's the number that I heard was actually associated with core, but a lot of that money has not been allocated.
The core program is tearing down a house. The core program money is for the demolition of some houses.
It wasn't just for demolition; it was also for revitalization as well.
Right. But as we all know, the core money for the revitalization hasn't even been given out yet because they're knocking down the block.
Correct. And that's something that I wanted to make a statement really quick, Pat.
Hi, Jason. I'm sorry if I didn't forget to introduce you.
Good morning. This chopped liver is sitting over here. That's all. Nobody wants chopped liver.
No, I love it. I love chopped liver. Makes the best in the city. Go ahead.
But for instance, looking at just recently in the newspaper, they were saying that only $380 million of federal aid actually came, far less than $1 billion that Trump was offering. And then here's another thing. A lot of times when they find issues with misappropriation of money, a lot of times it's the contractors. So it's not necessarily Elijah Cummings, it's not necessarily Council President Jack Young. It's these folks that are allocated the money to perform a task or a duty
and that they
for
don't
the
do?
city. Correct, and they don't either do it correctly.
So does the city sue them or get the money back? Are you serious?
Well,
no, hold on, I'm on the clock. I'm just on my lunch break.
Okay.
In some ways, they have to first find out that there is an issue, just like with the boiler issues. They were finding out that the contractor was doing a poor job and wasn't actually fixing the boilers and putting, like they're supposed to be putting in some filters in the boiler system to prevent rust in the boiler systems. They should go back once they find these indiscrepancies and sue these contractors.
Absolutely.
But the other thing
that's
is
a federal offense, isn't
it? You would think so, or at least some sort of offense, statewide offense. Another issue is that we may get federal money allocated, and the state budget may allocate money to Baltimore City. But what we find a lot of times is they funnel and they move the money around to different neighborhoods.
Yeah, well, you absolutely do.
And just like they use Bentlow Homes,
well,
they use Bentlow Homes downtown to get the empowerment opportunity tax breaks for Exelon to build Exelon down there.
Yes, go ahead, Bubby. We know you're on your lunch break. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's keep in mind, and it's the long and short of it. What I want to see an audit, because I truly believe under this president, with the power of the Department of Justice behind him, someone is going to go to jail for stealing this money in Baltimore.
Right, but that's what I was saying, Bubba. We have to be careful with this rhetoric because, again, if there was an issue where there was stealing, even at an official, a governmental official level, then there should be some form of accountability. The IG, the Maryland Attorney General, somebody, correct.
A spreadsheet which says what you were supposed to get.
And I think that we're feeding a little bit too much into Donald Trump's rhetoric when he says that, there's stealing and he's pointing the finger at our government.
There has been no evidence.
There's been absolutely no evidence of that.
I'm not feeding into anybody's rhetoric. What I am saying to you, in my tenure at the Baltimore City Housing Authority, I remember they spent $800,000+ on grass cutting equipment.
Right. And I mean, I've heard of circumstances of where they've bought, pieces of equipment for Baltimore City DPW, and those equipment were actually stolen. I actually did an interview with a guy that worked at the water department that was fired from the water department, a brother Bay, who actually said that they stole the equipment and sold the equipment to the Mexican contractors. You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff is inside.
When Alonzo was in charge of the schools, there was questions about misappropriation of funds even back before
millions.
Right, but we're always finding out.
Contractors.
We're always finding out at the end. We never know what the initial number was.
So we need cops standing there to watch the money from the.
So you said $380 million, Jason. That was $380 million in 2 years.
Correct.
What I want to know is where that was supposed to come from, and who's supposed to be the keeper of that money, and then you can figure out whether
a lot of times
that
what
is the right
happens
number.
is that money goes into the general fund.
Yes.
And it never makes it to Baltimore City.
The legislature can move it wherever they want to move.
Correct.
Yes. Well, you're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, and we're going to the phones now. Thomas, welcome. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yes, I do have a comment. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Great show. How's everybody doing today?
We're good.
Fine.
Good.
Hey, just fine.
Hey, listen, you guys remember the 900 and I think 60 million that the state of Maryland got from the federal lawsuit against the tobacco companies? Then Governor Martin O'Malley took that money and put it into the general fund.
Wow.
You guys, anybody remember that money?
I remember hearing about it.
Because you had what's his name? Peter Angelos was the attorney on that.
And Angelos didn't take as much as he should have taken in fees, and he gave that money to the state.
That's exactly right. But also, let's remember now, Peter Angelos bought Sparrows Point. Peter Angelos turned around and sued them for the asbestos case. So he gets money on that end of it also. But guys, all we got to do is follow the money in Baltimore. I think it was Brother Joe mentioned earlier about not putting all of it on Donald Trump when it comes to the HBCUs. I think it was then Paris Glendening was in office when this thing first started. If I'm not mistaken, guys, Paris Glendinning is a Democrat. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the problem we've been having is with these so-called Democrats that want to think like Republicans.
These Dinos, these Democrats in name only. Thank you. Yes, Thomas, I'm gonna be calling you. I'll speak with you later on today. Thank you so much for all you do, my brother. Thank you. We're gonna go to Brother Messiah. I'm gonna hold you for a minute. And I'm going to go to Ernest because I want to make a big announcement when I speak with you. Ernest, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yes. First of all, I would just like to say this. I don't know if y'all heard that Reagan and Nixon was in a conversation that they recorded. Mm-hmm. They referred to black people as monkeys and cannibals. Mm-hmm. I think they were Republicans, wasn't they?
Yes, sir.
Now, if when you stick up a bank, if you turn in a person that robbed a bank to the FBI, you get a percentage of the money that they stole.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
It is so.
Okay, go ahead.
And if you know somebody that's stealing federal dollars, if you go to the FBI and take the information and give it to them, or the federal prosecutor, you get a percentage of the money that you said that they stole. So if a person stole $930 million, you're going to get some kind of percentage, 10% or something of that money if they can prove that they're stolen.
That's $90 million.
It actually says that a whistleblower can receive up to 30% of the total monetary recovery as a reward.
Wow.
Right. So if you have this kind of information, why don't you go to the federal government and give it to them, all your information that you got, and then you can get 30% of that $960 million. I mean, that's a lot of money.
That's $90 million.
Huh?
Was it 9.6 million?
No, 90 would be 96 million times 3. So you're talking about close to $200 million.
Unbelievable. Keep going, Ernest. Keep going.
So that's why I don't believe that nobody is stealing money. Now, it might be lost or whatever.
Or misappropriated.
But no black person in the United States can steal federal government money.
We don't think it's the black people that's stealing it. We think it's the white folks that's stealing it and hiding it.
And the white person either, because if you got the information on them, if you got the information on them, they sure going to prosecute them and give you a 30%.
Will you be exposed? Will they know that you told it on them? Will they know that you blew the whistle? Or do they keep it?
It usually goes arrest and indictment.
There's a Protection Act, so it's called the Federal Whistleblower Reward and Protection Act.
So if you got all this kind of information where people are stealing money, what like these people are saying, how come they don't go to the federal government, the FBI, or the federal prosecutor, take that information, even the little bit of information you got, to try to get the reward?
Ernest, check this out. Now, thank you so much for that information, because I'm not sure many people knew that. But what do you think is happening? And you to a degree, I feel as though you're saying that if they're stealing, and somebody would have blown a whistle because of the Whistleblowers Act. What do you think is happening with the money?
Didn't they have a politician down in Annapolis, a black politician? I won't mention his name.
Why?
That they say that he was trying to get $15,000 from the federal government, and they sent him to jail.
We don't know. The
guy that wear the kufi.
Kufi.
No, I know who he's talking about.
Nathaniel Oates, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, we're listening. Yeah.
Didn't they send him to jail for just $15,000?
Yes.
So you think they won't send somebody to jail for millions and millions of dollars?
I think it depends on the color of their skin.
Huh?
I think it has a lot to do with the color of their skin. You don't think so?
I don't think that.
Well,
I don't think that if you're stealing money from the federal government, I don't of course, white people do a lot of stealing.
Yeah, they didn't get away with it because look at Pew, look at all the trouble she's in. But how did she learn to do all of that?
When they get you right, just like the guy that had the what you call it, a couple guys that they sent to jail for pyramid schemes.
Bernie Madoff.
Yes.
Madoff and that. They were stealing money. They went to jail too.
Yes, they did. Ernest,
plenty of money.
Thank you, Ernest. Thank you, man. That was a very good call. Thank you so much.
I think the difference is for us, we don't know how to do it like they do it. So they have a way of funneling the money through private corporations and
through nonprofits,
through nonprofits,
washing
and other
it.
type of schemes.
What do you call it?
Correct.
Interlocking boards.
They launder the money.
Correct.
The mafia
hiring somebody
prototype.
for services and overcharging them, and
hiding it. Sherry, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Go ahead. How are you today?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
That is the perfect reason why we need a federal audit to come from the feds for Baltimore City or even Baltimore, Maryland. Because it's apparent to me that these politicians cannot beg, cannot count, and they cannot account for the money. Everybody says all the time that they want an audit. But for some reason, in the Baltimore City, they cannot have an audit. So if this takes President Trump to say, get some people down here to audit to see where this federal money from all these years been given to Baltimore City, yes, I think we should have that, and I hope he gives it to us. Patrick,
yes,
I want to ask you this one question.
Okay.
If you was to get an opportunity to interview the president, 45 as people say, would you really not interview him? Would you interview him? Please.
I wish you would bring him into the lion's den. He would be a gazelle around here.
But you know, the thing of it is, let me answer you. Let me answer you, sweetheart. Let me answer you. Because someone posed that question to Larry this morning, and I said last week that I wouldn't. I will. Hold on. Let me finish. Okay. And Larry and Coach made a point that the custom shows such as mine, we don't have a responsibility, nor are we required to entertain people that we consider to have no integrity. For me, it would be like introducing or interviewing Hitler after he had committed the Holocaust. For me, he has no credibility. So anything I contend that Trump would say on my show would be a lie, first of all. Second of all, it would be a photo op for him to say that he came to me. And third of all is that I know the man hates my guts. And even the Bible says, shake the dust from your feet and come from among them. So no, ma'am, I would not interview him.
Well, let me say this, Patrick.
Okay.
You will be doing us a disservice. And and I'm not saying that in a bad way against
I understand.
I love the way you talk. I like the way you articulate. That will be an awesome interview.
Well, that's flattering.
It's only a couple of people that I feel that can do an interview with this president, and I'll be saying, and you are one of them.
Oh, baby, thank you.
Straight to the point. You're not going to have no cut card. You're going to go straight to the point. So let me say this.
Okay.
If that interview ever come your way, I don't want nobody there but you. Because you're the one I want to answer the question. If you don't take it, you're doing a disservice to your community.
I will take that into consideration.
Sherry, did you watch did you listen to Larry's show this morning when the gentleman called in and said actually that in some cases that he ruled on caution in doing that? Because he felt that even after you interviewed him, that the amount of threats that you would get.
I heard something like that, but I'm going to tell you something. When you did that Aretha Franklin funeral, Patrick,
yes, ma'am.
It was like I was there.
Oh.
And I know that you would be an awesome commentator if you have, you more so than anybody, I know with certain things you're going to ask.
Wow. Well, you know what?
I would never want you to turn an interview like that.
You know what, Sherry? I love you even more. I know you're a Republican, but you know what? I like you a lot. Yeah, I know you are, but you're one of the few that I would love to just sit down. In fact, one day I want to have you in here on the show, and I want to sit down and talk to you and see if we might be able to. If the Bible says this kind come out only by the laying on of hands, fasting and praying on doing. We've been fasting and praying for you Republicans, but maybe I need to lay my hands on you and talk to you and see if I can get you to explain to me. I love you. I thank you for your support, really, really, and that is such an honor that you would say that.
Patrick.
All right.
But let me say this.
Okay.
Keep an open mind.
All right, all right.
Everything on what it appears.
Yes, ma'am. You were so right.
You might change your way the same way you said about Catherine P. You never know.
Yeah.
Please, I want people to look for something underneath of this. We could be getting a message and we not even seeing it. Oh no. Patrick, y'all have a good day.
Bless you.
Remember the late great Frank Conaway was a Democrat until he became Republican.
Yeah, he did, but he wasn't the kind of Republican that we having to live with. Wait, hold on. Let me get this there. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. We have lines open, and we want to know what y'all think about this. I was just shocked when Ernie said, how come we didn't know about that whistleblower thing? Some of y'all up in there, y'all know what's going on. You could literally...
Right, you get 30%, family, 30% if you can find federal fraud.
Bobby, go ahead.
Hey, Patrick, I contacted the federal government, and they met me at my lawyer's office, and they told me because the money comes from the state to the Baltimore City Housing Authority, I was not protected under the Whistleblowing Act.
Ooh.
See, so, you got
do we have anybody know if we have any state laws?
Richard, do we have state laws?
Not that I know of.
Could you check to see? Let's
sure.
Okay. Oh, the interesting, Bubby. See, stay right there. I know you're on your lunch break, but you stay right there. Don't you go nowhere. Okay. We're going to go to Eric. Eric, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Comment.
Come quickly.
I like how brother Bobby just put it. Everybody's not going to be protected under that. You got to realize that, man. It's not just corruption, but it's intimidation. It's a lot of other stuff that's going on while people is not opening their mouth. I mean, but look, we see what's going on. People are saying it for years. Look, if y'all check YouTube, the internet, all around the world, I'm seeing people we never even heard of talking about Baltimore, the corruption in Baltimore, the living conditions in Baltimore. Vote this person out, vote that person out. I mean, it's a tsunami right now.
Yes, it is.
It's a tsunami right now, and it's sad because, like the sister just said, if you really look at it for what it is, you get to question, Patrick, in our communities. Where is the money? I can't count how many buildings downtown he's building right now.
I can't either.
I remember when Harvard East, and I know a lot of the gentlemen there is older than me. I remember when Harvard East was all industrial. They had to drag that land to get all the munitions from World War I and all that. They had to drag it so they could build that stuff they built in there. Where did all that money? Maybe that's the money that Donald Trump talking about.
Well, that was the Harbor East, if I remember correctly, was Pataracus' little toy.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir.
The problem that we have now is that we throw numbers. You let the president throw numbers out, $1.6 billion, and there's corruption, there's whatever. But we don't have our facts in terms of what money was allocated, where it was supposed to go, and who administered it. So until we can do that,
tells us, James.
Well, then it's hard for me to deal with these figures that the president throws out, because he's already told you that, for example, he went to Canada and threw out a number to the Canadian Prime Minister, and then he came back and started laughing and said, I didn't know what the number was. I just threw a number out, and he believed me. And so what we need to do as a community is make sure we have our facts straight. And I'll go with you if you got your facts.
But now, hold on, guys. Now, I want to say this. I'm told that City Hall listens to us on Monday. This is to Mayor Jack Young.
It's not tagged.
It's to Mayor Jack Young. Sir, there were audits done, started, I believe, under what's her name?
Pugh?
No, before
this goes
Stephanie.
back to Sheila Dixon.
Sheila Dixon. There were audits done, but then Rollins Blake kept saying she was going to release the audits, and then when Pugh came in, she said that she was going to release them. Is it not incumbent upon our mayor, our current mayor, who wants to run, he's considering running for mayor, is it not incumbent on him to release those audits and let the chips fall where they will? Wouldn't that show a certain amount of
release the audits? What audits? Because again, they haven't been doing any. They haven't been appropriating the money.
Wait a minute. Yes, but they started some, and some of them were finished but never released.
Right.
Absolutely. So what about releasing those? Wouldn't that give us some sort of barometer or some sort of idea of where this money has been going?
If they weren't released, they were supposed to be given to the to the IG. Now, the Inspector General, though, we know has been a weakened office for several administrations. So what's the Inspector General going to do, when the office is weak?
Wait a minute, who used to be the Inspector General? That white guy that was on the board of
somebody different
Mercedes Cummins.
Mercedes Cummins.
That's who it is currently. But at
she's
one
new.
point, we had no Inspector General for a while.
So then, is that position appointed by the mayor?
By the mayor.
So then the mayor could step up there and appoint someone in to do due diligence and to get this happening. If he is who he says he is.
I think that's all part of the game that's played.
There is no incentive to do anything but to maintain the status quo.
That's what it appears.
I mean, that's the incentive. Bernard Jack Young has been in the political establishment for 23 years, 9 of which he served as president of city council. Donald Trump has no integrity, no credibility whatsoever. So again, we're at a status quo place where the Democratic political machine has ruled the roost here and have no incentive to do right or to come clean.
They don't have incentive. We need to give it to him. Y'all need to ring up his office, the mayor, and tell, hold on for a minute, Bubby. Don't go nowhere. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People.
I'll sign off.
And all right, disconnect, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Don't you touch that dial. We'll be right back in a minute.
Wishing you never had. Once you realize it wasn't worth it. Your destiny.
The new 1010 WOLB with talk in the day and soul at night.
You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank account, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But thankfully, they're offering a way out. The Fresh Start Initiative. If you qualify, you could save thousands. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement, and they have an A rating with the BBB. Call Optima for your free consultation.
Call 800-799-0977. 800-799-0977.
Optima Tax Relief.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV? I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code LUCK for a 20-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 45 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code LUCK. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Download the free Get Upside app and use promo code LUCK. That's LUCK.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Yes, don't be discouraged, Baltimore. We're here, but we can't do nothing without you. We need everybody to stand up. Come on, Martin Luther King says a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. Stand up, Baltimore. Straighten up, Baltimore. Call the mayor's office and tell them we want to see those audits that have already been done, that have already been completed. We want to see them, and we understand why. We don't understand why he won't release them. And if he doesn't release them, then that shows that he's a part of the problem. That is the word for today. Welcome back to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. God bless each and every one of you. I believe Uncle Fred Black Wolves, don't you go nowhere, man. I got some good news for you. Uncle Fred, I believe you're next. How are you today, sir?
Hey, good morning. How's everything with you guys?
We're good. Thank you again. I checked on that tax thing. You were absolutely right. I was paying way more taxes than I had to. Thank you, sir.
You ain't send me no crab cake, man.
Well,
I know you saved a couple $1,000s.
Well, I did save a couple $1,000, but
call a place called Off the Rocks and buy me a case of wine. Tell them send it to
a case of wine. You expensive date, buddy. Thank you, though. I will get in touch with you.
I know you saved. Am I telling a lot? Didn't you save about $10,000?
Well, over a period of time, it'll be $2,000 a month. A year. I'll be saving. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you can do that thing retroactive and get some of that money back for that.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. Nobody mentioned that.
That's why I'm putting you down now.
All right, my man. Well, you tell me the kind of wine you want. You sound like you deserve a case, because I do show appreciation to people that help me out, and that lowers my mortgage payments and everything. So bless you. Thank you so much, Fred.
You know, we have our little battle, but still I don't want to see nobody, no brothers get ripped off.
I appreciate it so much, sir. What do you have a question or commentary today?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking about Jack in the Box. I said, oh, Jack in the Box, and you just show the audit. Mm-hmm. Now, a guy named Hyman Preston. You ever hear his name?
Hyman?
Hyman. He was the controller for a while.
Controller for how long?
He was the controller for the state of Maryland for a while, wasn't he?
No, he's controller. He must be from Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah, under Schaefer.
He was the controller of Baltimore for as long as I can remember.
Wow.
Prior to Joan Pratt becoming the controller, I can't remember who the controller was other than Hyman Preston. He never did an audit.
Wow.
No one ever called for an audit. We get our politicians in there. We want to beat them up about this, that other thing, about those dollars and cents that be moving around, through their hands. They never called for an audit. When Schaefer left Baltimore, all his buddies received some great big paychecks, so they never took leave the entire time they worked for the city. And some of them had been there for 25, 30 years.
Wow. And he paid them?
And didn't they pay anybody that know anything about Baltimore? Maybe Leo Bells, he may remember it.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, they paid him.
Wow.
But we get on the air, oh, she took this, he did that. Oh, they some crooks. Come on now.
It's the order of service, right? That's what you said, Fred. It's just the way that it is. It is the mode of operation.
It's just whack at them hours. Whack at them our own. We know these people prior to, but I remember one day they walked over $50 million from the school board. Remember that?
Wow.
When O'Malley was the mayor.
$50 million
disappeared from the budget.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was
you barely remember that.
I remember it.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember a bunch of money being missing.
He took the rainy day fund, plugged the hole, went to Annapolis, became the governor. And that's a fact. That's not what Fred thinks. These are things that these people have done. And we have a great opportunity to deal with this machine the way it should be dealt with. Because it's direct insult to the voters of Baltimore City.
Yes, it is.
For what they did April 2016 right here in Baltimore. Let alone when people talking about collusion with the Russians. What they did in Baltimore primary election in Baltimore City was a sin. And we allowed them. We didn't say a word. NAACP didn't say nothing.
That was the election.
Our elected officials said nothing.
What did they do, Fred? Tell us. Come quickly.
Let me try it on you again.
Okay.
9 out of 14 councilmatic districts you win. You win 170 out of 300 polling places, precincts. You win 170 of those. You win the provisional vote. You win the absent vote.
Absentee, yes.
And you lose the election.
You talking about Sheila Dixon, huh?
And to prove to you that this girl didn't lose the primary election, 7 months later in November, when most people just go ahead and give it to the victor of the primary, you know that. 50,000 people, 51,000 to be exact, 51,716 people left their home that morning, went to the voting booth, and wrote this lady's name down. And then we get on the air and try to figure out, well, who do the people Obama like?
Wow.
Y'all need to get out and vote. They voted.
Listen, I know, and we still haven't found out what's going on. Thanks, Fred. Thank you so much. We still haven't found out what happened with the voting machines that's owned by these Russians here. Van Hollen and Cardin are supposedly charged the governor up about it. And have y'all heard? Has anybody heard anything about it since then? No. Have you heard anything, Richard?
Nope.
Crickets.
Bubby? Yeah, go ahead, Bubby.
I think it is vital that we ask the Baltimore Office of the Inspector General, first of all, why isn't city employees given a card with her number and her name on it and her email address to contact her? That's the first thing. And I'm quite sure this lady had someone listening to your radio show, which I believe is the best in the city. Let me say that again. What I believe is the best in the city. But let's be careful. If the last Inspector General, a guy by the name of Michael Pierre, myself and the president, vice president, and executive board of Ask Me Local 647 met with him and laid out a strategy to go after Thomas Graziano, Paul T. Graziano. We laid it out. The next week, he was terminated by Stephanie Rawlins Blake, whose best friend was the chief of staff of the Baltimore City Housing Authority, unqualified. See, so when you talk about money, we're not saying that someone took the $953 million and put it in a bank account. What we're saying, they're playing a shell game. You hire my girlfriend, my boyfriend, the brother, the sister, and you move the money. You create foundations, nonprofit. Where the money came at from Sandtown, they're supposed to went to 21217 for the Freddie Gray ride. Where that money go? Jamal Brock built a youth center on Park Avenue, which is not in Sandtown. Now Jamal is in Atlanta. These are questions we're saying why we want the money to be audited, and let someone tell us definitively where the money go. Look at the streets and the roads in Baltimore City. Where the money go? Look at the public housing, which under Graziano said they needed $800 million to refurbish all public housing. Where the money go when they get $350 million a year from the federal government? The stimulus money came in. Where did the stimulus money go?
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay, Patrick.
Yes, come quickly.
You had asked me a question. I'm looking it up. Maryland does have a whistleblower law.
Oh, really?
And it says it only protects public employees from retaliation. Some of, so that one does exist.
It does exist, but is it as broad as the National Whistleblower Act?
I'd have to take a look. I'm just looking at it.
But we know that they're
right now.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you, Richard. Y'all see why I love this brother right here. I believe Brother Carlos. Carlos, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yes, sir. I do have a comment. Just a quick couple comments. There's a saying that I was reading in the Afro that says that few things are more dangerous than sleepwalking. And somebody is sleepwalking when they tell us that that these funds have been stolen. Now I'm looking here at how the federal government works and how they will bring a sledgehammer down on the mayor and her improprieties. Jack Evans over there in Washington, D.C., the city council, they raided his house and took his papers and so forth. Your federal attorney general, federal attorneys and so forth, I'm just saying that you don't get money from the federal government and get it stolen. Maybe it might be rechanneled and so forth, but I don't believe that. I just want to say that maybe you should send Fred a case of Thunderbird or Boone's Farm. He being the Republican and who's a spook who sat by the door. They just ran Will Hurd out of the Republican Party they call him a rhino.
But you know, but you notice Fred hasn't really been pushing the Republican. I think he's ashamed to push it now, but we know that he is a Republican. But
they ran Mia Love out. They emasculated Michael. They emasculated Michael Steele.
Yes.
There's not one black Republican in the Congress.
And then there were none. What about Watts?
They've got Tim
you
Scott.
Gotta wonder,
Tim Scott.
You got to wonder whether they're the neo-Confederates and they are in the Republican Party, which I believe, and they're reactionary. They want to take us back. I have complaints with the Democratic Party for sure,
yes.
But the damn Republican Party ain't for us.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you so much. But I think Fred is a little more classy. I don't think he drinks Thunderbird. I think he's got a little more class. Can you even buy Thunderbird anymore?
I don't know.
He said let him defend himself.
Fred's on the phone complaining. He said he'll defend himself.
Okay.
As a Republican.
As a Republican. All right, Uncle Fred, we know you. God bless you. Diane, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment?
Yes. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm great. How are you?
The rest of your people around you. And I like what Bubby said. You are one of the best talk show hosts
that
they have on this radio station.
Thank you.
And I wish you get another couple of more days.
Well, I tell you, I wish so too. Maybe the Lord is blessing me. I'm trying to get the University of Maryland to come in and to do public service announcements about proton therapy and prostate cancer and cancers in general. And I'm told if I can bring them here, that there might be a little blessing in store for me. So y'all pray for that. And I'm gonna give y'all a progress report too on my cancer treatment. So don't you touch that dial. Diane, what else? Thank you so much for the compliments, sweetheart.
You're welcome. Yes. You know what? When the money have been missing in Baltimore City for our community, and we have to be truthful. When 45 said what he said, it makes us. I don't know about nobody else, but I learned this a long time ago. It makes me go inside myself and say, what did I do wrong? And what happened? But Elijah Cummings, he didn't do that. He's not doing that. I mean, you got to say, what happened to the money? Why is all the black people in my district and not all over, the other congressmen in Maryland don't have us in their district? You know what I mean? When they gerrymandered under Martin O'Malley, this all happened 10 years ago. And that's how he got Baltimore. He was already in Baltimore County. That's how he got Howard County and Harford County, because they know what they were doing, Patrick. They were making sure that we stayed asleep while we was woke. And the money, when Bubby's talk about during the Freddie Gray, that money went to 21201, 21202, and 21203. So and they wrote that in the Sun paper. So why didn't he, when the money came in, and it came from different people, not just the federal government, private people sent money to Baltimore. And it did not go to Freddie 21217.
All from London, England.
Because nobody was monitoring. Nobody was holding anybody accountable.
Yeah, somebody was monitoring, because what happened to the money? The only person we know that got the money was Jamal Bryant, right? Only person they advertised.
It's closed, Patrick.
I know. And he got out of Dodge.
It was in Bolton Hill. It was 21217. It still was in Bolton Hill, but it was in Bolton Hill, not in Sandtown, Winchester. And the thing closed like after a year.
Well, did it last that long, Diane?
Yes, it lasted about a year and a half. I used to attend a Palmer Temple. That's how I know.
Okay.
Yes. And,
Associated Black Church. Ask them where the money went.
And hold them accountable. We're going to repeat the same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
My grandmother always said that we keep doing the same thing. We are insanity, and that's what we're doing. All we want is Elijah Cummings to find out where that money went at for housing in our community, and not those big developments downtown like he's talking about Harbor Point and Harbor East, because you got a Harbor Point and a Harbor East, and where they redoing the whole street. And this lady told me, I don't know how true it is, but she was on the bus and she was telling everybody at Pratt, and I think it's near Pratt, Lombard, from Lombard on Central Avenue all the way down. They're going to close that. I don't know how true it is. She said they're going to close that road, and it's only for those people that live in Harbor East and Harbor Point.
But you know what?
If they do that, Patrick,
yes,
come on
ma'am.
now.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's crazy.
That is, but I don't doubt it. I don't doubt because when you go down there, they're looking at you cross-eyed.
Nobody accountable because they don't have the meetings when we can go. They have them during the day. Most people are working. They need to have those meetings in the evening and bring them out to the community.
Yes,
and they also need to input from the communities. You always say that because we live in the communities. We know what we need in our community.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
A lot of people feel that it's not going to be too long before Port Covington becomes a gated community.
Oh, well, it's certainly located in a way that it could be done very easily. Let me see. Looks like I've got. Go ahead.
I need to bring a point up. We talk about Baltimore and we talk about Elijah Cummings, but y'all need to remember that there are 3 congressmen that represent Baltimore.
That's right. Come on.
And so when you're talking about Baltimore, you got to talk about Dutch Ruppersberger and you got to talk about John Sarbanes. And they represent large portions of black folk on the east side. So when the president casts this aspersion
This
or this
racist
negative about Baltimore
and Elijah Cummings,
he's
scapegoating the others.
You
right?
need to make sure that you understand even where you might live, because if you hit 21205 or 21206 or any of those zip codes, you might find out that you're not represented by Elijah Cummings.
Yes,
Elijah Cummings is taking all of the heat.
Yes, he is.
For something that white folks have been responsible for, and they may have the money.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Doc. Was this Doc Cheatham?
This is he.
Hey, Maestro, how are you?
I'm doing great. Well,
hey, Doc.
I can't be there with you, gentlemen.
We miss you.
Hopefully, when I steal this brand new BMW sitting in front of my house, it's been here for 2 weeks, I'll be able to come back up.
What color?
Blue? I'm only kidding. One of the things I think that has to be addressed, and I said it on Larry Young's show, and I want to say it here as well. I see nothing wrong with having the President of the United States, the governor, the mayor, and the congressman all walk through the communities that are in desperate need that have not gotten it. We can definitely say that some of us like and some of us don't like the president. I'm one of those that doesn't like the president. But if there are folks that can bring funding here that we have not gotten, we would not be intelligent if we don't reach out and see if we can get some of the money.
Right, and where it went, at least.
We just haven't received it. I don't know whether or not it was earmarked for us. All I know is my community, Easterwood, did not get a cent. And all I'm saying is that, if the president wants to call us names, and some of the names stick to us, because if you walk through the neighborhood, many of folks who talk on radio shows and talk on TV haven't been through the communities that they talk about. I talked to a writer just this past Sunday, and she had no idea where the Freddie Gray area was. All she knew was, the riots had to have happened at Penn and North. I said, well, why did it have to happen there? Did you walk through the rest of the communities? And all we're saying is, let's have all of these elected officials come to the areas that need it the most.
Thank you. Listen, Doc, where you going to be? I'm going to call you later on. I got your birthday present in my car, and you keep messing with me. I'm going to pull it out and wear it.
Maybe I'm trying to run and hide. I don't do gifts too well.
Really? Well, how do people show appreciation to you? I shouldn't ask that question.
Just keep doing what they're doing. I'm not someone that really is that heavy into receiving gifts. I'm very appreciative to get them. It's like I tell folks, I know I have at least 300 and some awards. Now, I'd rather folks use their time, money, and energy and put it into helping other communities and don't necessarily give it to me. God blesses me when he wakes me up every day.
Yes, he does. He does. But I tell you what, every time I see you, I know this brother loves beautiful clothes just like I do. Now, don't make me go back and get it in a smaller size so I can wear it, okay? Because I think you're going to love it.
God, keep doing what y'all doing.
All right.
The show sounds great.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day.
Let me give one more factoid.
Okay.
In terms of monies to this state, 2nd District and the 8th District gets more money than any other district.
And who are the representatives?
The representatives in the 2nd District is Dutch Ruppersberger, and in the 8th District is Jamie Jamie Raskin.
See, you done stop preaching and going to meddling now.
Yeah.
So that shows you where the money is going. Yes.
What I would love to see, if you could get everybody at the same place at the same time, take the same walk that Bernie Sanders did 4 years ago when he called Baltimore a third world country and said out of his mouth that the people in North Korea live better than the people in Baltimore.
You're absolutely right. Gene, welcome to
Diane said, don't let these folks off in her district, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How's everybody?
Come with Gene. Fine. How are you?
Hey, Bobby, do me a favor. Put your email address out there real quick for me.
My email address?
Yes, sir.
Lucky Crosby, SR2@gmail.com.
Okay. Thanks a lot, man. So let's do a quick audit in the black. You said that. So you all just said that in the white community where all the money goes to. What community does the money go to in the black community?
Archives.
Okay, they get the most?
I believe so.
Michael Braverman.
Michael Braverman. All right, Gene, I'm sorry. We got to go. Listen, everybody, don't you touch that dial yet. We got a show coming in, so we got to keep moving fast here. I want to say thank you, Bubby, so much for all that you do. God bless you, man, and protect you. And thank you, you too. Thank you. Young man Mosiah Fit, who has an organization called the Black Wolves. This organization works with young people from the ages I've seen as young as 6 years old on up, and he's doing an incredible job of with those young people. And in the process of oh my God, I dropped him, and Jason is out. Okay. Well, I'll keep telling you about it. We're getting ready. Mosiah Fitzgerald had a vision, and that vision was to create a human flag of red, black, and green. In 1920, Marcus Garvey, there was a popular song going around. Everybody got a flag but the coon, saying that we don't have a flag. So Marcus Garvey he created a flag of red, black, and green. Red is because of the bloodshed. Black because we're the first human beings on the face of the earth. And green because of the land that has been taken from us. And on August the 17th in Harlem Park, we will form a flag, a human flag of red, black, and green. We're going to great expense to not only purchase the material so we can create this flag, and we're hoping to do it on the football field there at Harlem Elementary in Fell. I can't think of the name of it. Augusta Savage building there with Augusta Fell Savage building. They have a football field there, and the city has been out there doing an incredible job of cleaning it up. But we need to get the bleachers fixed because we don't want all those people to come there and they break their legs. And we need those of you who live in that area to call Mr. Bullock, who is your city council person, and tell him they need to fix those bleachers, because if somebody breaks their leg there, then the city's going to be responsible. We have to buy a bond to use the property, but by not fixing those bleachers, then we're just asking for trouble. And who wants to go out there and hurt themselves at something so auspicious and something so wonderful and unifying as this event that we're having on August the 17th. We're going to have great speakers there. Vendors are going to be there. Medical people are going to be there. Employers. Hurry up, Jason. I'm trying to make sure I dropped Mosiah. See if that's him on line one. And we are definitely want you all there to come out. Bring the family. Bring the. Pardon? Is that him? Hello? We want each and every one of you all to come and bring your family and bring your children. Is that him? Okay.
Yeah. He's up.
Mosiah?
Yeah.
All right, come. So I'm sorry, man. I stuck my finger in the wrong hole again and dropped you. But welcome. Then I was just telling the people about what's going on. God bless you, my brother. And you want to bring us an update?
Yeah. So far, we have about 3,000 that we know is going to at least show up. Wow. We're definitely pushing for more.
Okay.
Right now, we still need people to donate. We still have materials to purchase. We need more flag material. If you could go to eventbrite.com and search red, black, and green human flag in Baltimore, and you'll be able to give a donation there. We coming up. We need people to continue to promote. And it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to be a magnificent day. This day definitely is a day. I'm calling it for our youth in particular. You know, we're not satisfied, and I think I speak for a lot of youth. We're not satisfied with the status quo. We're not satisfied with the lack of activism and some necessary pain and struggle our people are going to have to go through in order to truly get change. So this is definitely a movement for those who are really about activism, not just talking, not just complaining, but some real activism, some boycotting got to be done, some protesting got to be done, some demonstrations going to have to be done.
Yes.
Demonstration. This is a demonstration to show that our people are not dead.
Yes, Messiah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a young white man on my line says, "Coon, LOL." Yes, sir. We think it's no longer funny. It never was funny when they wrote the song back in 1932, 1920. The song was written, so we don't think it's funny. And you all get an idea of the mentality of some people. You need to come because of the symbolism to bring your children there so they can see our people and our flag. We invite each and every one of you. Google it. Red, black, and green Human Flag Day in Baltimore, and get all the information and help us financially so that we might be able to make this a splendid day, a day of unification. God bless you. Love you so much. Thanks for all the love. The doctors gave me a great report the other day about my prostate cancer. God is still a healer, and I want y'all to know that I give him all the glory, and you too for all your prayers. Join us next Sunday at 3:30 on 1400, and join us here at 11:30 on WLB 1010. You've been listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Have a blessed week.
Black Power.
Black Power.
This is not a time to get distracted. No.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it, so can you.
For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
I want to keep my heart healthy, so I get my cholesterol checked regularly. And when my doctor told me my cholesterol was borderline, I found garlic. According to my pharmacist, there's an ingredient in garlic that helps maintain healthy cholesterol. And one garlic tablet is equal to a whole clove of garlic, except it's odor-free. Yep, I'm doing what I can for my cholesterol, and I'm doing it with garlic.
Garlic, cholesterol's natural enemy. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to